Speaking of Black Friday, the biggest shopping day of the year kicked off overnight. Stampedes of shoppers around the country rushed to find the best deals as soon as doors opened. CBS's Laura Podesta has a look at the frantic video.
10, 9,
at stores across America, shoppers are braving the lines and the crowds.
Anybody who wants TVs, you're gonna go this way.
To take advantage of some of the lowest prices of the year. In Los Angeles, deals of 50 and 60% off at this outlet mall. Nearby at Toys R Us, this lady gave us a look at her radically reduced receipt.
It would normally be $700, it's only $400, so save $300.
In Houston, Texas, Black Friday is an emotional day for families trying to replace items lost in the hurricane.
Just to have a house back and just see my son happy for Christmas, see my dad and my mom and my husband, and I'm just grateful to have them here, and that's what I'm really happy about.
Industry experts say this one-day shopping extravaganza has really been going on all month. Retailers offer constant discounts to get people through their doors and spending cash.
The reality is that bricks and mortar retailer is still the dominant part of retail.
And it's not just clothing and electronic stores getting in on the action. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, these people brave the cold for Black Friday beer. This brewery only offers this special brew one day a year. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And according to the National Retail Federation, about 70% of Americans, an estimated 164 million people, are planning to shop or considering shopping between Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday. Also in this morning's headlines, President Donald Trump spent his Thanksgiving honoring the nation's armed forces. The commander-in-chief visited a Coast Guard station in Florida and spoke with troops who were spending the holiday in Afghanistan. The president thanked them for the sacrifices they've made to protect the country. It was a tragic Thanksgiving for the family of a Texas trooper who was shot and killed during a traffic stop. In Waller County, Texas, the trooper pulled the suspect over on Interstate 45 for a traffic violation. Police say when the trooper walked back to his patrol car, the suspect shot him with a rifle. After a manhunt that lasted almost 4 hours, police located the suspect near Houston and took him into custody. Here in Billings, a man is hospitalized with life-threatening injuries after he was stabbed multiple times. Police were called to the 600 block of North 25th Street on Thursday morning. The 47-year-old victim was taken to Billings Clinic for treatment. A person of interest was detained, but there's no word if the suspect faces any charges. An investigation is underway in Lockwood after a single wide trailer was destroyed in a fire. Lockwood fire crews responded to the 3900 block of Springdale Road Thursday afternoon. The owner at the scene said the trailer was no longer livable and was vacant for 2 months. But because no utilities were active in the trailer, the fire is being investigated as suspicious. Going on special assignment, suicide on Montana's reservations has prompted state officials to instigate change. Governor Steve Bullock says he often feels like the consoler-in-chief since he has attended so many funerals of people who've chosen to end their own lives, many of them young Native Americans. MTN's Jill Valley tells us what it's going to take to save lives on the state's reservations.
Scroll through Josiah Nichols' Facebook page and you'll see a teenager who loves his family, has a great head of hair. He's a basketball player for Two Eagle River School, a talented native singer, and someone who has scores of friends. Many of those friends filled the hallways of the hospital the night Josiah decided to die by suicide.
I don't know exactly what happened that day. I just remember my phone call, getting my phone call. And I was crying and I was shaking. It was his face, so I tried to call him. His phone just rang and rang and rang.
A week before his death, he posted this on Facebook. They were words of despair. They were followed by words of love and support from his friends, but it did not change what was about to happen.
My baby was laying there. My heart. I could feel it shattered. All I wanted was my baby. I just wanted him to open his eyes.
Josiah was just 16 years old. His death was one of 20 confirmed suicides in the Mission Valley community since last November. There's no statistic pointing to how many were attempted. Montana's Native Americans have the highest rate of suicide in a state that already has one of the highest rates in the country.
I'm in part haunted by what you're here to work on.
Last month, Governor Steve Bullock launched the Zero Suicide Academy. It's a major component of a statewide plan to reduce suicides. The goal here is to share ideas that people can take back and put to use in their own communities, to examine what's happening on their own reservations. There are no easy answers, but the conversation is well underway.
Suicide isn't something that you can address and it's going to go away. It's a symptom of much bigger issues. And so what we want to think about is, what else do we need to do? Who do we need to pull together? What have other tribes done that have helped them address this as a key issue of wellness across Indian country?
Suicide is also a topic that's now talked about openly in schools, because it has to be.
We've taken an open stance as far as it's not something that should be pushed behind or not talked about when somebody comes up or has questions, or it comes up in class. It's something that we have agreed as a staff to discuss, or maybe not there at a different time with those students.
It's an issue that affects young people deeply as they watch their peers and friends struggle. Many believe suicide has become a bigger issue than bullying. After several suicides in the Mission Valley last spring, the student leaders of St. Ignatius High School went to their teachers and said they want training to know what to do if they have a classmate in crisis, because they know often a young person contemplating suicide will reach out to their peers before their parents.
It'd be nice to know what to do in that situation, so that's why we want the leaders in our groups to be trained in something, so that way when their friends do reach out or people do reach out to them, they do know how to handle it the right way.
There's no one reason why someone might choose to end their life. For Native Americans, tribal leaders say the answer to their pain cannot be suicide. That pain needs a voice.
While this is a really sad time for us, it is also an opportunity for us to really put a mark in the sand and do business differently. We are really saying that we need to figure out a different way of addressing our issues that have gone back for generations.
Sherry often reads the note her son left behind, searching for answers that just aren't there. She can still see his face in photos, hear his voice singing back at her on an iPad, but it's not the same.
I don't get to see him anymore. I still wait up for him, and I know he's not going to come home.
On special assignment, Jill Valley, MTN News.
Josiah was loved by so many of his friends, and family often leave messages on his Facebook page. If you are in crisis, you can text the number 741-741 and type in MT for a free 24/7 text line. In other news, people turned out in full force at the Big Sky Resort to take advantage of the start of the season. The addition of covered carpet lifts made the below freezing temps a little more bearable yesterday. Big Sky reports it's starting the season with a 21-inch mid-mountain base depth and 32-inch upper mountain base depth. More snow was possible overnight. Q2 hopes to see you tonight during the 33rd Annual Holiday Parade. The magic of Christmas and the holidays will come alive starting at 7 o'clock. This year's theme is the Elves of Santa's Workshop. About 100 floats will line up at North 27th Street and 3rd Avenue North tonight and will follow the traditional city parade route. The fun once again starts at 7 o'clock. Before we take a break, a Billings woman has a lot to be thankful for after a stranger over the phone helped her save her father's life. MTN's Shannon Newth shares her story.
A voice on the other end of a phone.
911, where is your emergency?
A call that's often made in scary, uncomfortable, or dire circumstances.
My dad's not responding and you need to send an ambulance right away to this address.
Shelly Abbott dialed 911 and dispatcher Megan Haynes answered. The start of an unforeseeable bond. 2 years later, voices from over the phone meet face to face.
She did a great job. I remember this call so well.
On September 19, 2015, Shelley's dad, Ed, was recovering at home after having a lung biopsy. He laid down in his chair and took a nap. A while later, Shelley was heading into her dad's house when she saw her brother.
He's just shaking his head like, I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, you need to get in there, something's wrong. And I think, in my head the whole time I'm just thinking my dad's fine, nothing's wrong. He's totally fine, like he's probably just sleeping.
Ed was unresponsive. Shelley says being a healthcare worker, she knew the importance of getting emergency services as quickly as possible and dialed 911.
I tell her that my dad's not responding and he just had this surgery, and she can hear him in the background, and thank heavens. I mean, if she didn't hear his breathing, I don't think that we would have started CPR.
I told her to get him on the ground and that CPR needed to be started.
Feeling these ribs break underneath me, and she's like, keep going, and I'm just like, I can't. The whole time I'm like compressing, I'm like, I can't do this. Yes, you can. So she was just walking me through, Megan was just walking me through this the whole time.
Emergency services then arrived on scene, and Ed was taken to the hospital. He woke up in a hospital bed with a tube in his throat and had no idea what had happened. He communicated with his family by writing notes.
I literally died, and through the 911 operator and all the first responders, they brought me back to life.
Hi.
Are you Megan?
Yeah, I am. Nice to meet you.
It was just something really neat to finally, see the person that helped save my life.
Amazing. It was an amazing feeling because I've never thought that I would ever meet somebody that I helped over the phone.
Their meeting wasn't by chance. Megan reached out through Facebook.
First line I could read is, Shelley, you don't know me, and I'm thinking, oh, who is this?
In the more than 7 years Megan has been a dispatcher, this was the first time she's ever met the people she helped over the phone in person.
This is for you. That's the pin I received.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Ed's second chance at life has given him the opportunity to watch his 13-year-old son grow, be at 2 of his children's weddings, and become a grandfather.
Amazing feeling to look at her and know that her family is whole right now because of what I could provide to her over the phone and what she did as far as on her end on scene.
Every holiday that we celebrated and came together after that incident was just like, thank God you're here, because what would it look like without you?
In Great Falls, Shannon Newth, MTN News.
And the red pin you saw in the story is a lifesaver pin that Megan was awarded for her role in successfully saving Ed Abbott's life.